Hi there, Palmina from Mystical Touch.
And Joya from Adiabella Rises.
Thank you for joining us for our weekly chat.
Chats. It doesn't go the same when we're
I'm so glad you stopped that one up, not me, because it's always me. I love it. Okay, so this week we're going to talk about forgiveness. Adiabella was literally just saying before I pressed the record button that she's been given the nudge that forgiveness is a big thing and needs to be talked about. So forgiveness it is, and I'm going to pass it over to her straight away because she's the one with the connections. Thank you.
So forgiveness. Obviously, everyone does a lot of work around forgiveness, cord cutting, going back to a situation and really working on it and forgiving that person. And I'm just going to ramble because they've literally given me this 2 seconds before we started because me and Palmy were like, we have no idea what we're going to talk about. So whatever comes out, is going to come out. But I think it's more about learning that come on, guys. Sorry.
Don't you hate it when you're on the spot?
Yeah.
It's really I know it's because you're getting the right words and stuff that they're trying to get through to you. So
yeah, if you want me to talk about it, then you got to give the words.
I know.
It's hard because, I've blogged about it this week, and also it was quite a big thing in our newsletter as well. So I'm kind of like, well, what more do you want me to say? But I think it's really, especially with the new moon, and obviously the energies are still happening today. It's about, yes, you can dive deep into those really big issues if there's a big momentous occasion that you're like, yeah, actually I need to revisit it more so than just going, yeah, it's forgiven. But it's just, I think it's just learning to put out that forgiveness vibe without needing to know where it's going, where it's heading, who it's for, whether it's for yourself or whatever, and just really living in that, not constant state, but have that as one of your things that every day you just sit there and just let it radiate out of your heart center, because it's going to help you heal wherever you need to heal.
No, I agree with that, because even through my own experience with some moments of forgiveness, and from what I hear people saying things like that, like you sit there and you think that, you're doing forgiveness work, whether it be writing or, talking to a counsellor or whatever it is, or saying, I forgive, I let go, God, please help me. And then you're sort of sitting there thinking, okay, well is it forgiven now? That sort of thing. Like I think people are thinking, oh yeah, there's a moment where, within that process, like in that moment, I know there's a moment obviously where you realise, oh yeah, I have sort of moved on, but not that, but when you're actually sitting there and say you are doing your journaling, for instance, and you're thinking, well, okay, I've written all this out today, let's just say today, for instance, and, you spent, say, an hour or 2 hours doing all this work, forgiveness work, whether it be crying, whether it be, whatever it might be, and then you think, oh, well, I've done that now and I feel much better, well, that should be done with now, and then it may creep up and come up again, and you sort of think, well, I've already done all the work on it and it hasn't happened. So what I'm getting at is you're right with letting it go, and I think a lot of people sort of sit there and think that once you've done a little bit of that work on it, that it's done and dusted, but it's not. You don't. And some people sort of think that when you've done that work that, oh yeah, that's it. It's like I'm sitting here and now I'm waiting for a sign or something to say that right in this moment, that's as quick as it is and that's as easy as it is to forgive. Do you know what I mean? So it's more about that sign that I'm trying to get at. I think I've gone around about in a big circle, but you know what I mean, if you can clarify that a bit better for me, because I think, yeah, it's about just saying, doing your forgiveness work, doing whatever it is, talking about it, blah, 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 and then letting it go and just trusting the universe to know that what you've done and what you continue to do to open your heart and let go and trust is how it's going to work for you. not that epiphany in that second when you've done a whole 10 pages of journaling or something. Do you know what I mean?
And you may get it. So, you know, there has been times where all of a sudden you sort of go, oh, like you just feel that weight lift off. But when you're dealing with, and that's why it's sometimes good to not think of a situation and just think on the forgiveness, because sometimes a situation has so many different facets. It's like a diamond where you think, oh, I've done it, but you've done one little corner of it. What about, you know, all the other 10 that work around it? And that's why it can be good rather than thinking on situations. And don't get me wrong, when I did it myself the other day when the blog came out, or it was the basis of the blog, it showed sort of little movie reels and whatever, and I kind of went, oh, okay, I can feel it going up to there and going up to here. But it was more concentrating on the forgiveness, because sometimes we can get too bogged down in the situation that has happened or that we're talking about, or getting frustrated at ourselves because are we doing it? Oh, we haven't done it, or whatever like that. And we're humans. Things are going to keep repeating, especially, you know, you might have done it 10 years ago and then all of a sudden it's popped up, but it's because whatever's happening in your life has re-triggered it, or, you know, you've had a bit of a switch back to that old thinking, so it's triggered it, or it could be something completely new that's triggered it. And that's going to happen because we're humans and we have that kind of mentality. But if you're focusing more on just forgiveness and just radiating, that's right.
Yeah, you got it.
Then you don't have to get bogged into the details. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be thinking, but do I want to forgive that person? Because you know what? This forgiveness work, it's not about the other person or the situation or whatever. It's about finding peace with it within yourself. Because if you let it, it could, and I'm saying the worst case scenario, but it could kill you. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
It's so bad in your body that your body creates all these illnesses and stuff, when all you had to do was forgive. And I know it sounds really easy, but it actually is. We as humans have to put all these stipulations of, oh yeah, but, and oh yeah, but, and oh yeah, but. Just forgive. That's all it comes down to, is just, and I can walk through the process a little bit if you like, you know, it's not really a meditation, but that kind of feeling that I got to that point. And again, today I probably need to forgive again, because some customers peed me off this morning, or, you know, I've been around and I've gotten a bit shitty. So, you know, sometimes it's not about other people, it's about yourself. So again, if you're just focusing on that forgiveness feeling, it kind of, and don't get me wrong, it might highlight stuff that you do have to work on a little bit harder, but it just gets you more into that higher vibration of, you know, with forgiveness does come joy and peace and calm and love and all of those kind of things. Because if you're feeling forgiveness somewhere or not forgiveness somewhere, you know, that's a little dark block on your happiness and your joy and your spirit. So why would you put yourself through it? Yeah, some crap's gone down, but there's no need to keep dragging yourself down further over that situation. There's no need for it.
I agree. I sort of, what I've found that I've done on the odd occasion over time is just kept having to remind myself that, you know, I just have to accept that that's what's happened. And that, I think, is a big key in forgiving as well, because like you say, it's about, you know, you're forgiving yourself, really, not because you're forgiving yourself because someone did something bad to you, or you did something bad to somebody else or whatever, but just forgiving the situation that you've made yourself sick over or painful over, or whatever you said, like that dark hole. So for me, I found it was using the word accepting, because it's like, you know, we're forgiving something that's already happened. So it's something in the past, whether it be 2 seconds ago, you know, whatever. And also, you know, just every time I've had to think about a situation, or flashes come in, or sometimes it's the dreams that come in that are the, you know, reminding factors of what's happened in the past or whatever, because you haven't quite dealt with it, or whatever it is. And it's going, you know what, now I still have to just accept that that's the situation that's happened, and now it's time to move on. And from there, I think the forgiveness sort of part tends to just naturally flow. That's how I found it for me. Do you link those words together in any way?
Sometimes it's hard, because obviously with forgiveness work, one, you're already kind of like, oh, you want me to forgive that? Like, seriously? Yeah. So you kind of put yourself on a bit of a what's the word? You get quite affronted, I guess. So sometimes putting acceptance in can sort of make someone go, you want me to forgive and accept? And it's more, I guess, against the thing, like you say, that it's not necessarily accepting what's happened, but it's accepting that it was in the past. You now can't change any single thing around it. All you can change is your reaction to it. And are you going to let yourself beat yourself up about it, whether you did it to yourself or whether it happened to you without control? But are you going to let that rule your life anymore? Are you going to let it rule your vibrations and your health and whatever else? And I think that's more... Because, sorry, I'm just hearing that sometimes people, again, when it comes to forgiveness and situations, sort of people get really quite, like, they just kind of go, oh, yeah, no. So sometimes acceptance, when you put it in, it makes them feel even worse. But that's why I'm thinking, if you just go into it at the fact of it's happened, whether it was 2 seconds ago or whether it was 15 years ago. And I mean, I'm not just talking about easy shit, you know, and palmy as well, but I've been through some really hard shit. So I'm not just saying this as oh, it's okay, you know, you're stuck just
exactly.
It. You know, I've had to go through some really hard lessons, and again, up until recently, I have let them, and perhaps that's why I can say it now, I have let them rule my life. But I just kind of, put it this way. Say, for example, someone hurt you really badly and you now don't want to, and I'm just reading out random stuff here, so forgive me, and now you don't want to leave the house or go out or anything like that. When you really look at it, you are giving your power away to that person who did that thing to you, and you're sort of going, oh, I wish it never happened, whatever else. But I'm not being horrible, but I'm going to get my little ranty hat on, like in my last video. That shit's on you. I did the same thing to Palmy, you know, when she was staying with me, and I was like, you know, my sister's dad did this to me and it's really made me feel like this. But yeah, he did that to me, and yeah, he was a freaking dick for doing it. But it's on me at the fact that I've let myself for the last 10 or 15 years live a half life, because, and don't get me wrong, that was the sort of triangle on the top of the pyramid, but that's on me. That's not on anyone else. That's not on any situation, my life, my childhood, my family, my friends, the universe, anyone else. That is on me. So if I want to make a difference, then one, I have to forgive myself for putting myself through that for so freaking long, but then I have to forgive everything else. And again, you might have to get into the nitty-gritty, but if you're practicing daily, which I'll go through, because obviously reading it's different to listening and doing it, but if you practice daily that forgiveness and just radiating it where you don't need it to go anywhere. And again, I know that's hard because I'm a control freak. So when I have to do things where it's like, oh yeah, let's just let it go wherever it needs to go, I go, yeah, but I want to tell it where it needs to go. So that's me. I know that that can be
so weird.
But trust me, if you're coming from that space, then things will start being easier, and those things, those hard tasks that you decided were too hard yet were impacting on your life, will be a little bit easier to deal with, because you're already coming and accepting and allowing that forgiveness space. So the universe is going, oh, they're ready, and they'll make it a lot more easier a process.
I agree. I totally agree. I love the hardcore. Normally, Bella is the more gentle sort of, she's the more sweeter, angelic side. I'm sort of hardcore. I'm just direct and say it how it is. So I try to pull back at times, but yeah, no, I'm with you. We need to accept responsibility for our part in choosing not to forgive. And I think that's where, for me, the word comes into it. Although I don't know, everyone's different. But
before I forget, because it's just come in when you said that. And if you think about it, the person that did that to you probably doesn't even think about it anymore. Yet you're letting it rule your life. You know what I mean? Like, it's, and why would you do that? And again, it's not, when you forgive, it puts out this great energy and it boosts your energy. And even if you don't like the person that the energy is finding its way to, it's also, one, helping that person energetically, because even if they're a dick, they still, you know, there's reasons around that as well. So, and we won't get into that. But it's not even just that person, it's the fact that you're raising the vibrations for the universe. So don't even think, even if, again, when you just put it out and you can see that it's going to these certain things, because you may get that, you may not, but don't even think, oh yeah, but I don't want to help that person, because you're coming from totally the wrong mind space. You're still in that ego space and you're not in that heart space. But think, shit, I'm helping myself energetically, I'm helping the other person, and it could be that you're helping them energetically to let you go, or for you to let them go, so that you're not thinking about them all the time. And you're helping the universe, you're helping Mother Earth be on the right sort of axis and whatever else. So why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you want to do it if it's helping so many? It's helping everyone. I
agree. So basically it's forgive. Just go ahead and do it. There's, the past is the past, and as much as, as Bella said, it's not as simple as just going, yeah, I forgive and that's it, and you never think about it again, you never have any emotions about it again or anything like that. Some some you don't. Some things really don't bother you, because you know what, sometimes I believe in, sometimes it's their lesson, not necessarily yours, but you may have to have gone through that, or you were a part of being that lesson for them to learn. So in some ways, obviously, you're affected as well, but it doesn't feel so difficult, because for some reason it just doesn't, and it's like, oh, well, that just obviously wasn't really a big thing, so you don't feel there's a huge lot of forgiveness work to be done type thing. But yeah, in the end, you do need to forgive, and it starts with forgiving yourself for whatever reason. If you're feeling affected, and correct me if I'm wrong, don't correct me if I'm wrong, because this is how I feel, but you say it in a different way that might be better put out there to those that need to hear it in a different way, and that sort of thing. But you're only, if you feel that there's anger or you've been hurt and stuff like that by somebody else or a situation or whatever, it's always about looking at yourself and asking yourself, well, why do you feel that way? Because we all know that we're only going to feel that way if we feel there's something that we ourselves are a little bit either maybe low on self-esteem, or feeling a little bit not so sure about ourselves anyway, that sort of thing. We all know that when we're feeling in a really good vibe and that high energy, which is why we need to forgive, so that we can stay in that high vibration, as Bella said. So if we're feeling in that great, positive, energetic energy, that sort of thing, people say things and stuff, and we don't even notice it. It sort of just goes over the top of our heads. But on those days when we're feeling a little bit flat or whatever, and someone says something that might hurt us or whatever, and we do feel it, then we know that it's not actually what they've said, done, or that situation. It's actually how we personally were feeling ourselves in that moment anyway. So, you know, if there's forgiveness work to be done, it's my personal opinion, it's because there's something within yourself, excuse me, that you need to be working on. And as you've already said, Adiabella, it's got nothing to do with what anyone else. Don't get me wrong, not absolutely nothing, because it depends on the situation. But in the end, you're in control of how you feel and how long you want to hold on to those feelings and thoughts and that lower vibration before you can move on. So, you know, you need to be able to forgive yourself and move on for that reason. You want to use a different word for it, you know, cut it out of your life, cut the energy. I don't know, maybe there's different words you might want to use, but forgiveness is basically what sums it up, hey?
Yeah, and it's just, I know for me, I wouldn't wish my past on anyone, but in order to do the work that I do now, I needed it in order to learn how to be a human living at a high vibration and being able to learn how to come back to a higher vibration. I needed to go through it. And don't get me wrong, I might not have, before I come, actively chosen every single little minute detail that I went through. But this is what I'm here for. And now I take my biggest learnings from that. You know what I mean? Like, even, yeah, it was horrible at the time, and it's even horrible now when I think about it, but I think, wow, like, that's turned me into who I am now, and I am a really amazing fucking person.
Fucking oath.
And again, I wouldn't have been able to even say that probably 6 months ago. I wouldn't have been able to say that, but that's the where you've got to get to. And again, every day is a challenge. You're not always going to be feeling on top of the world and whatever, but that's when, you know, the little things that you do, like your gratitude work and radiating forgiveness and doing things like that, that's when they all come into play and just help you. It's not to say that you're never going to have a crap day again, but it helps you to get back onto that even footing and bounce back quicker than if you were still type person every single day. So, and it just helps you to see different points of view, so that when you do get frustrated at someone, you can actually step out of yourself and go, yeah, but for that other person, I could understand it from their point of view as well. So it's just, you know, a lot of different things come into it, but just do it.
Exactly, just do it.
Like Nike says, just do it.
Totally. All right. Well, I mean, we could go on forever, really. There's so much, you know, but I think, Adiabella, you were saying just before that, I don't know, you're going to do another vid on that, maybe if people need a bit more tips, or you're talking more on a one-on-one where they can contact you for like a form of counselling, healing session, or maybe a bit of both. So if anyone wants any information on that side of it, maybe jump onto Adiabella Rise's page and message her via her page and just ask, you know, some questions and see what it is. Let her know that what you're after, and she, Adiabella tends to formulate things around your needs, that sort of thing. So yeah, definitely. So yeah, maybe we'll just leave it there. Have you got anything else that they're hitting you on the back of the head with?
I don't think so. If you want, I can quickly, it'll only take a minute, because I'll just sort of talk through how to get to that process and not whatever. But if we want to do the forgiveness thing right now, we can. It's
up to you. Yep.
Okay, so I discovered mine in the shower, which, as Carmen knows, is where I get quite a lot of my aha moments, I guess you could say, and my talkings to Father and things like that. So if you can close your eyes if you want to, or you can have your eyes open.
I like mine open.
I was looking at you.
I like mine open.
Okay. And just ground yourself. So if you do the way I do it, I imagine white light coming from the universe, going in through your crown, all the way through your body, down to your feet, out of the soles of your feet, and deep into Mother Earth. Surround yourself in a big vortex of white light. And if you want added protection, you can surround yourself in green, gold, royal purple, whatever colour suits you for your protection. And just ask your guides to keep you safe and protected and to keep these shields up while you're working. And then just go into your heart space. Watch where your soul is. It might be your heart center, your heart chakra, or it could be lower down into your solar plexus, whatever feels right for you. But just feel your own inner candle, your own inner flame, your own inner diamond, however you see your soul. Just focus on that for a moment. Hopefully be feeling calm and peaceful at this point. And when you do, think about forgiveness, just in a curious, detached way. And just imagine it coming from the same center where your soul is. So your soul is the one in charge now, not ego. If ego wants to think about the bad ways of forgiveness, put ego in a glass jar and screw the lid on tight. So allow your soul to let you feel this forgiveness. Could be a colour, could be a feeling. And just let it get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it starts radiating out of you. And just let it know that it can go wherever it needs to go. It may need to stay with you. You may just see tendrils drifting off into the universe. You may see where it wants to go. But just, again, just be detached and just be curious about it and just focus more on that feeling, the absolutely loving, amazing feeling of being in this forgiveness space. When you're ready, you can bring yourself back to yourself, wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. Allow it. You can either stop the forgiveness when you're ready, or you can just allow it to go on its way, but just ask that your energy and everything be shut down. You can ground yourself again, whatever you need to do, and then bring yourself back to awareness. First couple of times it might be a little bit harder to do. When you get used to it, you can just feel that beautiful ball of forgiveness just ready to burst out, and just see it just like your aura or a colour just bursting out of you into the universe, to wherever it needs to go. And you're done.
Yay! So I think that's a beautiful way to finish off today. Thank you, Adiabella.
You're welcome.
So if anyone wants a uniquely designed healing process done for yourself, as we said before, jump onto Adiabella Rise's page and send her a message. She's incredible with her healing voices. I love them, but I'm a bit biased. Anyway, so we'll leave it there, and yeah, until next week, we shall give you lots of kisses and hugs and send you on your merry way to start doing your forgiving. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.